Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Memento Futurum podcast. This is Vanessa, your host, and today it's just me, another solo cast. This is part 2. I told you there would be a part 2 earlier in the season. And first of all, I want to say happy Samhain, happy Halloween for those of you that celebrate. I just thought the energy of this day and all that it can encompass was a really perfect moment to drop in with you. So I really do see the podcast as a circle with all of you that listen, happening outside of time and space, perhaps even a ceremony at moments. So yeah, if you're listening to this, just know I'm feeling you, I'm seeing you, and just really uniting the universal consciousness and all of our hearts. It's always my prayer, but really helping us to feel each other, because yeah, this isn't a totally one-way thing. So Samhain, the first thing that I want to say about Samhain, so it's, that word comes from the Celtic Wheel of the Year. This is also known as Witch's New Year. And in the Wheel of the Year, this is really seen as the New Year. So this could be a really amazing opportunity to start again, have a new beginning, to say a prayer, to have a new intention. If you're listening to this, you're probably a witchy gal or a pagan person or someone who's at least interested in consciousness and connecting to yourself. But I would say that it's such an amazing opportunity to feel the liminality, to feel yourself between spaces. And it's really what this time offers. I think we talk a lot about ancestor communication and spirits. And if you're on the more Halloween commercial end of things, it's about dressing up and getting your kids to have fun trick-or-treating things. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. I like to celebrate in all of those ways. But taking a moment, taking a beat, and taking a breath to really drop in with what the season and what nature is offering us, this sacred opportunity. And it doesn't have to be some long, ornate ritual that happens. There are bonfires that happen this time of year and special ceremonies. And, especially if it coincides with the full moon, which it doesn't this year. I think we're just past a half moon. Definitely sun is in Scorpio today and the moon is in Pisces. So it adds this extra watery, fluid, dreamlike, liminal quality to this day, which I feel like just gives us this availability to the subtle realms in a maybe more nuanced way. But as I was saying, ritual does not have to be some big ornate thing. And just to kind of show you what's happening in practice, like literally at this moment in time, my mother-in-law came to visit us. She's playing with my son, Ollie. I'm brewing some coffee for my husband, and I have quiche in the oven. So this is not going to be that long. And I wanted to name that and to say that because I just was like, no, this is the exact moment that I'm going to do this. And it's not that I have hours and hours and hours and hours carved out of my day to make this podcast and to sit in ritual. I usually rise with the sunrise, and my son woke up early, and I was like, okay, well, come outside with me. He did some of my morning prayers. But you weave your children in, you weave your family in, right? You weave everything in as you go. And throughout the day, every moment is an opportunity to pray, to set intentions, just to meditate, whatever you want to call it, however you practice. And just reminding you of that, So as you know, the themes of this day are about liminality, feeling yourself between worlds, feeling the ancestors, all those that came before you, all those who are going to come after you, you and yourself as future ancestor or present ancestor, right? Like you are holding and carrying all of that. And the Dream Garden Flower Essence Club, we have, my voice is gurgling. We have the Of Blood and Bones Flower Essence blend. If you're interested in it, please let me know and I'll get you one. And you can unsubscribe anytime. I was like, oh, am I going to extend it to Halloween? And I just really feel this blend so strongly. But it's composed of these flowers that help us to remember the rising power in ourselves as the ancestor. And we might have inherited a lot of stuff. We might have inherited a lot of things that we, pain, trauma, suffering, things that we don't want, right? We might have inherited a lot of beauty, a lot of gifts, a lot of brilliance from our ancestors. Whatever it is, though, it's what has brought you here. It is what has brought you here, and that's really important to remember, because whatever you've been given is an opportunity to work with your sacred technology, whoever you are, your innate gifts, right? And we all have stuff. We all have stuff. We all have baggage. We all have come in with stuff. And we all have gifts. So, just feeling that ancestral message of like, what do you want to make of it? What do you want to make of your life? There's a figure. I'm bringing it up right now. In order for you to have been born, you would have needed 4,094 ancestors from 12 previous generations, over 400 years, to make your birth possible. And that's just to kind of quantify it, right? To kind of give it a name, just remembering that you were placed here for a reason. All of you are divine consciousness embodied. And never forgetting that and how you want to live from your heart, right? One of the things I wanted to mention here today was about how, there's a lot of Instagram memes kind of circling. It's like today, Halloween, it's like the Halloween decorations, and tomorrow it's Christmas. And that's hilarious and funny and amazing if that's how you celebrate. But I wanted to kind of bring some awareness to that, which is giving some space for the Samhain, Halloween, ancestral energy to breathe, because this is initiating, let's say, a new cycle. I really see November as that time between, right? Because we're not quite to solstice yet, to Yule, or what people call Christmas, right? Like, we're not there yet. And I think liminality can be uncomfortable for people because it's hard to name, it's hard to understand. It is the unknown. It is both and, right? Like, you're between. How do you quantify or really name what that is? And I don't think that's the function of liminality. I think that when we're between things, it's about asking us to hold polarity, asking us to hold two things, even if they're not quite opposite, but helping us to feel that transitional time. And inside of that subtlety, there is a lot of richness. I always feel like it's in November, especially in the space between Scorpio and Sag, where things start to open, the insights deepen. The momentum and the fire of Sag, I think, can kind of really spark things in those deep insights of Scorpio. So, there is a function to the rhythm of the seasons and just kind of understanding what that is. If you guys don't know, I shared this on social media maybe about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. But I am pregnant again, and I'm really excited to share this. And we're having a baby girl. And, for all the parents out there listening, the responsibility of carrying lineage is something that's been on my mind, especially at this time of year. And for me, I have a son, but for me, what I feel like feminine energy is bringing in is the awareness of how she carries the ovum. And she, female babies get all of their eggs in utero by 5 months. It's really between 4 and 5 months in utero. And I'm almost there. I'm 17 weeks. And so the prayer is really strong, and the idea around all of this is really strong. So it's also part of my inspiration to share this with you. But that means that I was carried in the womb of my grandmother. You were carried in the womb of your grandmother, right? When your mother was in utero. And just for parents in general, just how we're carrying lineage forward is a reflection for this time of year. If you want to be a parent, I think that can be a meditation. But memento futurum, remember the future, is about remembering that we are essentially bringing the future into the now by envisioning the world that we want to see and the world that we want to live in. And we borrow the earth from our children. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a parent or not, want to be a parent or not. We borrow it from the future generations. And so I just feel like the heart of this podcast and the heart of this message and the heart of today really is kind of coming together all in one little mini segment here. And just really feeling into that. You know, we all have a power with this. We all have a responsibility, and we all have the capacity. Well, I don't know if everyone has capacity. Let me see. We all have the capability, and we all have different capacities to do what we can inside of our own dynamics and gifts to step up, right? Like I might not have the same monetary imprint as a billionaire to make change, but with the gifts that I have and the resources that I have, I know that I have a responsibility to use those things wisely and to take the wisdom that I do have and to continue to share this message into the world. So, you know, just kind of to frame why I was creating a nuance there in the example. So, who are you? You know, who are you becoming? What might your ancestors want to share with you today? And in this time, in the next few weeks, you know, month, maybe what have you already received? What signs or symbols are already coming to you? I know there have been a few animal totems that have been coming to me kind of repeatedly. Hawk is one of them. So maybe you're seeing repeated animals or symbols, signs, numbers. How is the universe speaking to you? Because it's all language. It's all, coded language and messages. Dreams speak in symbols. The universe speaks in symbols. It requires us to really feel and not to be so caught up in the cognitive semantic, like sentence structure kind of messages. I think often people think that's how it will come, and sometimes it does for people. But oftentimes it doesn't. So like really broadening your mind. What colors are you drawn to? What flowers are you drawn to? What kind of location, people, places, books, media, and if you're consuming a lot of media, I always say this, I feel like it's such a strong message, just for our collective now, but it's like really watch how much you're consuming of anything, but especially media. It's really hard to hear your own intuition if you're so full with everything else and other ideas. Spend time meditating and emptying. But yeah, these reflections, I think, help us just to start to open to the realms. Simple rituals, light an incense, pause for 30 seconds to say a prayer, light a candle with your full intention and your full heart, right? While you're driving, just bless the land. Say, I love you to the people. I love everyone. You might not like everyone, but you love everyone, right? Very, very simple moments, that can really transform. My solar plexus is getting super activated. As I'm saying this, I'm like, am I going to burp? This will start to happen with my solar plexus sometimes. But it's like, maybe this is totally TMI, but I'm just sharing with you openly. Like, simple moments. And in this simple moment, talking with you for the last about 20 minutes, my quiche are almost done, so I'm about to pull one card for you. It's like the drop-in doesn't have to be long. So let's just look at what the tarot has to say for the collective. Whoop. One. All right, Nine of Swords. We want one more card. Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right, Nine of Swords and Knight of Wands. I'm going to talk about the swords real quick. So, the keywords here, anxiety and worry. The picture is like the swords are pointed at the woman. She's in the bed. They're not touching her, though. Whenever I see this card, I'm reminded. So, swords of the mind, the air. Be careful with your mind. Notice how much of your mental space is going to fear and worry and anxiety, living in the future. That's what anxiety is. Come back to the present, because oftentimes we start creating our own issues. We add to the weight and the problems while our mind is starting to spiral, right? Our mind's out of control. So watch that. How much of your mental space is fear-based? And how can you recalibrate to being more heart-based or love-based? Another thing to kind of even think about with this card is liver-based living. Liver is responsible for like anger and resentment and bitterness. And when it's really full, because we're drinking a lot of alcohol, we're having a lot of fried food, we are constantly allowing ourselves to live in an irritated state. We become liver-based, which creates fear. We start to become very fear-based. Can't see the vision. The liver is the seat of the soul. I'm sharing this with you because it kind of puts it in practice. If you give your liver a little bit of a break, whatever it is you're doing, maybe just having too much processed food or spending a lot of time being really negative or complaining. Maybe you're just drinking a lot of alcohol. Whatever it is, you give the liver a little break. All of a sudden, the heart starts to open a little bit more. Things don't feel so scary. So watch your liver, watch your mind. That's the message of the Nine of Swords that I have for you. And the Knight of Wands. And I would say that this is a message that I was really feeling for the month of November. Flow and fire and intuition. The Knight is the only suit that's on horseback, so it already brings movement in any of the suits. But in the Wands, it's the energy that brings mobility to the fire. So all of the things, the sparks, the ideas that you had, it's like, hey, there's some gas in the tank and the Wands wants to take it. The thing you have to be mindful of is impulse, being impulsive with the Knight of Wands. But it can bring a lot of gusto. It can bring a lot of fresh energy. The thing that I want to say in the context of time, is that we are already in Mercury retrograde pre-shadow. We have Mercury retrograde happening November 9th through the 21st. And I was like, hold on, let me double check these dates because maybe am I fibbing? I don't think I'm fibbing. But things slow down with Mercury retrograde. Things ask us to pause and to reflect. So if things aren't going your way, don't start moving the way that you want them to. Embrace it. Oh, sorry, November 9th through November 29th. I was like, yeah, that's not a big enough window, what I said. So what's important about that, if you don't know, communication delays, computer stuff can get weird, printer can get weird, travel delays. It's not a time to sign contracts generally. Your chart can be a little different. Every astrologer might have a different opinion on this, but in general, time to reflect, time to slow down. So to see the Knight of Wands in the context of the Mercury retrograde, I think it's really about discernment, this card, and choosing what you can move on and what you can move toward, and being aware and mindful about your strategies and how you're operating. So like personally, I wouldn't be making like big contract type decisions, but I would be definitely moving on, committing to my practices and my disciplines and things that I've wanted to do in that area. So you can kind of see embodied in the action form, like what I mean with this. So yeah. And is there anything else I want to say about this before I have to pull these quiche out of the oven? This is practical magic, right, guys? This is functional tarot. Excuse me. I would say my voice is so like, it's morning time, gurgly. I would say with the Knight of Wands, things have already grown. There's a lot that's already grown, and to notice where you are in that cycle. It's okay to take a beat and a pause. It doesn't mean that you're not still growing. So if that's one thing that you need to hear today, the you that's listening that wants to be producing all the time, it's not natural, meaning that's not what nature does, especially not what it's doing this time of year. Slowing down. We're preparing for winter. We're preparing for that full surrender pause, right? Of the slumber of the winter. We're not there yet, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Mercury retrograde is going to prepare you for that. So use the time wisely. Like, use the astrology that's being presented to you. Okay, that's all I have for you because I got to pull these quiche out of the oven. I love you guys so much. Thank you for staying here and for listening. There are new episodes in the queue and that are coming about a lot of beautiful things. But on this day, have a beautiful Samhain. Have a beautiful liminal space of November. Don't get caught up in solstice and Christmas just yet. Let it be what it is. Let the richness come to you. And I hope that all of your dreams come true. All right. Bye, guys.